How's it going, Vote? Figured I would do a video since Middle Path told me he would ban me if I didn't. Just kidding. So I'm going to take a little piece of the garden here and just kind of explain what's going on, what my plans are for it, what's growing here, and what I wanted it to eventually turn into. So right now we're looking south, west, east that way. All right, what this is over here, the concrete, is an irrigation ditch that comes out of the mountains. Essentially twice a week in the spring, summer, and fall, this fills up with water and then flows all the way down to a large holding pond that I have in the back. I then pump that out of the pond and send it through drip irrigation through all the places that I've cultivated. That's allowed me to grow quite a bit without spending a fortune on the water bill. All right, so looking up here, foundation of this is a large maple tree. Right now it's not leafed out because we're technically still in winter here. But up on this berm, we've got some tansy. Throughout it, there's some savory, chervil, tarragon, a couple of columbines. The other side, some onions, filipendula, leeks, a number of different things. Eventually, I'm going to plant some cranberries along here. So you can see lots of garlic and onion through here. It kind of grows wild. I like the look of it, and it generally helps the plants around it, so I just let it grow. Inside of here, we've got chamomile, oregano, thyme, some flowering onions, and a little columnar apple that was gifted to me. All right, so running along the ditch here is a hugel mound with some pine trees that I cut down. Starting from the west side, we've got about 5 different types of raspberries that grow along here, which then proceeds into a jostaberry, 3 different currants, and 3 different gooseberries. Underneath them are 3 different varieties of strawberries sectioned out. So there's one here, one in the middle, and one on the far end. They essentially bloom at different times. So as the weather warms up, the ones on the furthest west side get the most sun, and as the trees start to leaf out, it allows the rest of them to get more sun than the ones on the end. So I get a steady harvest of strawberries out of those every year. Mixed in with that is borage, some caraway, cumin, probably quite a few other things that I've tossed out there. I don't even know what's growing out there at this point. It just keeps coming back up. All right, up towards the house is a little rock garden from all the rocks that I've dug out of the yard as I've tilled around. So at the far end, just on this side of the maple tree, are 2 Russian blueberries, honeyberries essentially. Supposed to taste a lot like blueberries, just a lot better. So we'll see this year. I planted them last year, didn't get any, but they're flowering already, so we'll find out. A little further up are 3 elderberries. To the left side of, or actually to the right side of them, is some sorrel. And then on the left side is phlox and bergamot, which reseeds itself. And then some shallots and crocuses that I just let spread out. Right inside of here, I've got a apricot, which will eventually grow large enough to give this whole area shade. Up against the rocks are a couple of different types of lavender that I take cuttings from. And then, of course, rosemary, sage, thyme. There's some soapwort growing on the other side. Once the deer stop eating it back to the ground, that'll eventually trail over the rocks. But they seem to really like that. A couple of leeks here. Those are from last year, letting them go to seed this year to collect that. And the area around the path here is where I grow my endive generally. It tends to like the short period of sun that it gets in this spot. Got a pot of mugwort growing here. Slowly starting to come back up. On this side here, I've got some filipendula that's popping up. There's a couple of comfreys down on the bottom. just starting to show their leaves. More sorrel, some hollyhocks, some leeks. And on this side over here is basil that I allow to go to seed, cut it to the ground, and it'll pop back up again this spring. And around these honeyberries underneath the mulch, I had radishes growing. I let them go to seed, cut them down, and they will reseed themselves this year. Of course, you can see I've got all my plants outside, letting them get a little bit of sun. Seems everyone loves the peppers on Vote, so yeah, lots of peppers. Alright, I hope you liked the video. If it does well, then I'll do another video of another section of the yard. Got quite a few guilds around here, so let me know what you think.